Welcome once again to the Allon Exchange with Jay and Brittany Hagy. They are the co-founders of Allon Planning Partners. I'm your host, Spike Spangle. Jay, Brittany, oh my gosh, have you guys put together a great show. So many things to talk about. Brittany, how are you doing?
Hey, Spike, doing well. Doing great. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. Jay, yourself?
I'm doing wonderful. I do think we have a lot to go through here, so we don't have a lot of time, but we have a lot to go through, and so we're excited to get to this show.
Excellent. Every single week here at the Allon Exchange, we go through retirement planning strategies for you, and more importantly, solutions, what we can help you with. Today's program, Jay and Brittany have put together questions that they get from folks like yourself, everything from emails to clients coming in to prospects coming in.
Absolutely.
And you know, that's really what we can help with. Nobody wants to sit here and listen to us talk about the economics and all the interest rates.
I think we get that enough, right?
Yeah, we get that enough.
We get that a lot.
What are the kinds of things that you help untangle for people? And we're going to do that here today.
Good.
So if you don't mind, I want to jump in with our first question.
Let's roll.
We've got investors that often believe that the rate of return is what matters most when it comes to investing. So a 10, of course, is better than a 5. Is that what should be driving our decision making when it comes to choosing investments?
And that's actually a question that we get a lot of, right? Especially the way the economics are right now. Hey, how do I find that magic bullet investment that's going to give me high returns with little risk or little loss, right? And so a lot of people look at rate of return, and it's okay because everybody wants a good rate of return. The reason we invest is because we want to make a return, right? And that's okay to look at that. But there are other specifics that you have to look at when we're looking at this. And one of the big ones is a risk tolerance, or how much risk am I taking in order to get that return? Because I can show you portfolios that in a bull market will get you 20, 30, 40% return a year, right? But where we're at right now, not so much, right? You're going to be losing in the opposite direction. So I think one question we want to add on to that is, okay, what's the rate of return look like in your overall portfolio, but what's the risk tolerance that you're comfortable with, and how do we make that customizable for your situation so that you don't feel the losses that you're feeling right now? And we've had that recently from prospects.
We actually had a family come in, and they were speaking with us about their situation. They were really distraught over losses that they had experienced with a particular portfolio. And we asked them, so why did you choose this particular investment or holding when you were looking at this? And their answer was because of the returns that they were shown when looking at their options. And there's so many other things to consider, just instead of just the rate
talking
of return.
about risk alone. Think about this. So let's say you look at two investments and they both achieved a rate of return, let's say 8%.
Right.
But if all you're doing is looking at rates of return, you would think that these two investments are equal. But what if one is taking twice as much risk to get there?
And that's what this family was experiencing. They made the decision based off the rate of return instead of also considering, but what kind of risk am I going to have to take to get that return?
Right.
And it's easy to sell in the bull market. In a bull market cycle, it's easy to sell rate of return because, you know, you can throw enough mud at a wall and some of it will stick, is what my dad used to say, right? So I would say, you know, you need to look at what risk tolerance you're looking for, what the end goal is in mind for your investments. So another question that we want to answer, and that really draws down on the return as well, are fees. You know, what if you just talk to me about two portfolios that both had 8% returns?
Yeah, okay, so let's go back to that.
Yeah.
Two eights, right?
Yeah, one has a 2% fee and one has a 0.5% fee, right? That fee is going to weigh down on an average that portfolio over time, right? So you need to look at the risk and fee.
I'm going to press you on that because I think I know what you're talking about. One way, because you might not want to say it, I'll say it for you. You could be looking at the difference between a mutual fund and an exchange-traded fund.
That's right.
A mutual fund of the S&P 500 that could cost you 2%, where you could get an exchange-traded fund.
That's correct.
That could be
Perfect
90% less.
That's correct.
And oftentimes people just don't know what they're holding.
And people don't realize it because a lot of times they are sold investments and not sold a financial plan or not given a financial plan. And you may be in that case with your portfolio. You may be out there saying, well, I've got the same question because I've had a good rate of return until now. And now I'm trying to figure out, what did I sign up for, right? And so you need to look through how much risk are you taking in order to get that return that you're looking for, and then what are those fees internally? Because like you said, it could be a mutual fund that you're paying sales load or a commission load on instead of an ETF that does the same thing.
Well, and also, what is that investment doing for you? A lot of people don't really consider that. They just think, I need return, return, return. But is this investment helping you reach your goal or helping you get to where you want to be? That is a big question as well that you've got to take in consideration when you're making these decisions.
Now, when you help people at the Allon Exchange figure out the risk in their fees, are you suggesting to folks that they start looking at their personal accounts and try to figure out all of those expense ratios on their own and add it up?
Well, good luck.
Can you help them with it?
Yeah, the good luck.
Reading Greek. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult because they can be hidden in deep pages of prospectuses that we get in the mail all the time and like, what is this for? Firewood. How do I read through all of this stuff? And so that's what we do every day. We help folks dig through and analyze the portfolio that they're in and show them an apple to apples comparison to what they have and what may be possible that they could have, right? And so that's how we help untangle a lot of these mystifying questions around risk and fees and their whole portfolio.
And that's where we come in because so many people don't know where to begin.
Yeah.
All these questions they may have, but where do I start? How do I find these answers? And that's what we do. We love to sit down with folks just like you and talk through your specific situation, answer these questions. Let's dig through and see what kind of fees you are paying so that you can be aware of your options in how you're investing and what you're investing.
Especially because of the markets recently, there's a lot of folks who are probably losing sleep at night. I'm going to go back to something you were saying, Jay. If you're having a hard time sleeping at night at the markets, do yourself a favor and open up one of your prospectuses. It will help you sleep. But at the front page of every prospectus that most people have never read is past performance is no guarantee of future results. Any assertion to the contrary is a federal offense.
Right.
But most people judge the investments they want to choose by looking at the past performance. And how many times has that hurt them over and over again? So what should they be looking at when it comes to an investment? Because we say evaluate the costs. Don't just look at the past performance. What do we look at?
And something else that we haven't even talked about is the emotional component. A lot of people don't consider, what can I emotionally handle when it comes to my investments? Because let's be honest, money has emotions attached to it. Our dollars have bring up these feelings and emotions within us. So how does that impact how I'm invested? Because what we find is that a lot of times people think that they're not taking much risk, and then we sit down with them and we talk through their situation. What's your risk tolerance? Oh, I don't like risk. I'm pretty risk averse. So, and we look at their investments and it doesn't line up with what they're saying. And it's just because they're unaware. They were plugged in somewhere or just put into a 401k somehow and assigned a risk tolerance that they weren't really, aware of what it really meant or how it contributed or conveyed to dollars and fees and risk and all of these things. And
there's honestly an hour show that we could go into of what you should be looking at, right? That's why we sat down with you one-on-one, because we're looking at your situation. We're not looking at mine or Spike's or Brittany's. It's very specific to your situation. So there's a lot that we could go into, but ultimately, is it in line with the goals that I have? Is the risk tolerance appropriate for where I'm trying to get to? And a lot of times you think that they are because we haven't experienced the volatility until now that we're experiencing, but sometimes they're not.
If you're laying awake at night concerned about how your accounts are doing or what's going on with your finances, that's a red flag. Maybe I should take a deeper dive here. Maybe I should look at the amount of risk I'm taking and make some adjustments.
Yeah.
Now's
well,
the time
Jay
to
and
do
Brittany, you don't have an hour on risk and volatility in markets. You only have that on your radio show.
We do
which
have
you
that.
guys do every single week here in the area. But I've heard your radio show, and you tell viewers and listeners out there that they can call you for advice. What would you like to tell the viewers here before we go to break?
Yeah, they certainly can. Give us a call, 1-866-691-7317. We offer a complimentary consultation to each one of our viewers where we sit down and talk through questions just like this, specific to you. Again, not generalized, but very specific to you and your situation to help you get to where you want to be. Because it can be a bit of a puzzle to untangle sometimes, and it's okay to want some people in your corner to help you navigate that. That's exactly what we do. Again, give us a call, 1-866-691-7317.
I'll also say that you can use the QR code on the bottom of the screen over there. Open your phone to the camera. Look, we've all done this at restaurants over the last couple of years, right? You've got to use your phone to open up the menu. Same thing here. Open up your camera, point it at the QR code, click on that. It's going to take you right over to their website where you can get more information about them. But call for your own complimentary review. When we get back, when should I take Social Security? Jay and Brittany will dive into that. Call the phone number right here, though, for your complimentary review for our viewers here. 866-691-7317. More of the Allon Exchange right after this.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
Welcome back to the Allon Exchange with Jay and Brittany Hagy. They are the co-founders of Allon Planning Partners. I'm your host, Spike Spangle. Every week we tackle these retirement planning, both strategies, solutions, questions, concerns, and you guys give us the answers, which is I'm very glad to get with you because I have these questions as well. A little bit ago in our previous segment, though, you started talking about how people do choose investments emotionally. And we like to think that we're methodical when it comes to financial decisions, but really, personal finance is more personal than it is finance. It's really about our own personal decisions, and it's hard to get these emotions out of the way. There is 6 decades worth of Nobel Prize winning economic research called behavioral finance. So if you get emotional about investing, you are not alone. These triggers have been ingrained in us for thousands of years, our fight or flight, and that's basically what drives us in investing. Fear or greed, right? Which way are we going? Now, this might not seem like it's behaviorally attached to your decision making, but I actually think it is. Our question here is, when should I take Social Security? And there's a lot of people out there who will do maybe what their parents did, or they're worried about what the government might do.
Or what their neighbor's
I'm
doing.
going to take it right away, or this is what this person did.
Absolutely.
And I do think even Social Security is emotional. What about you guys?
Yeah, I absolutely would agree with you, Spike, because this is a major component of our income planning process, right? Social Security, statistically, is a core leg, at least a third of a lot of folks' income through retirement. So when you should take it and how to get the most out of it is probably something that you would dig into a little bit more, right? And being emotional about it, it's like, I paid in these dollars to the government. I want to get out as much as that I can. Is the right thing to do.
I want to get it as soon as possible. A lot of people say that. Well, if I can file now, why am I not filing? I want that income.
I want it as soon as possible, for a lot of reasons. We had one of our clients come in recently, and she was so excited because she had just turned 62, and she's like, I finally get to start taking my Social Security. This is great. We have to walk folks through a process, though, of some of the laws they don't understand about Social Security is that if you're still working, there's actually a penalty basis, right? If you're taking it early because you're not full retirement age yet, that you obviously get a haircut of 70, you're only getting 75% of it to begin with, but you also can't make right around $20,000. Anything over that $20,000 mark, they're going to penalize you $1 for every 2 that you make. And so she was real excited, and it broke my heart to have to tell her, you still make $60,000, and basically your Social Security is going to get eat up in penalty. So it's probably not right for you to take it right now because you're not going to get the full benefit that you should be getting.
So let's talk about
paying it back.
Let's talk about those it depends factors. How old you are and if you start working. Let's break it back down to the simple. So at 62, you're making, what did you say, about 75% of what you would?
That's correct. So you take a 25% haircut from your full retirement age benefit. So at 62, if you decide I want to turn on my Social Security right away, that's fine if you're in that category and it works for your situation, but you know that you're going to get 75% of your full retirement income.
And that's why it's not always the best option to file as soon as you can, which a lot of people think, well, it may not be around for me to take if I wait, so I need it now. there's a lot more to consider besides just, can I get it now? How
So-
much can I get now? The penalty basis, the age. I mean, think about, many people don't know about how if you wait past your full retirement age, you can earn 8% a year. That full
Up to
retirement
70.
benefit
Yep,
will grow
that's
up to
correct.
70. So from your full retirement age to age 70, that benefit will increase by 8% a year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good question to ask, because where else can you nearly guarantee
That's
an
it.
8%
8%
return for 3 or
Show
4
me.
years?
Show
So
me.
maybe if you're still working, or you could draw down on some of those saved retirement accounts
That's correct.
and let your Social Security grow.
That's right. So that brings up a good point. For those people who do have other investments and other places that they could draw down for income in those retirement years, you actually have a lot more options available to you when it comes to Social Security.
Income planning can be less stressful for you, in that scenario. So what we're looking for is to create an income plan from the assets that you have, your Social Security, which you have paid for and earned, and other assets that you may be invested in. But creating an income plan is the sleep well at night situation that we're trying to get folks to, because we don't want you just to get to retirement and how do I invest well to get to, but how do I get through retirement? That's that income planning situation. So, making sure that you're getting as much as you can out of Social Security. And there again, we could speak an hour just on this, because you got a spousal benefit. You can get up to 50% of your spouse's benefit if it's greater than 100% of yours, if you're waiting to take that. So if you're married, you have more options in Social Security. So what your situation looks like out there may be, and it is, different from your neighbors and your cousins and your uncle and your parents who took it at a certain age, and it always will be. So what we want to do is make sure we're putting together a customized income plan for you through retirement.
Now, can we always count on things like the 8.7% cost of living adjustment that we got this
not
season?
actually, because
That was
what
great
that's
this
based on
year.
is inflation,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so it's based on inflation, and thank God that they do have a cost of living adjustment set up for us, so that those people on fixed income in retirement can actually afford bread, milk, and eggs, right?
Right. But
And
there have been years where it was zero.
Zero.
That's right.
Quite a few years, a good number of years where it was actually
Yeah.
zero.
Yeah, so that's based on the consumer price index, usually based on the third quarter of the year, that our seniors will be able to see, will they get a cost of living adjustment? But I always say that, is that too little too late? Because they already paid the costs for the last year, and you're getting a cost of living adjustment for the next year.
That is.
I've got one little follow-up, I think, before we go to break then. Do you think Social Security will still be here in 15 or 20 years? You were saying how somebody will say to you, I'm taking
That's
it
a
right
major
away because it
question
might
that
not
we
be
get.
there. Will
Yeah.
it?
It's a
Yeah.
major question that we get. And I would say, absolutely, in my opinion, at some level. The issue is what level of Social Security will be here. Because even in 2034, if Social Security was dried up to zero, the trust fund that holds Social Security, there is still around 78% of the current workforce being able to pay for Social Security benefits right now. So will it go away completely? Probably not, but will it be modified? It's likely that it will be. So you don't want that to be your only hope of survival
So
through
you
retirement.
You don't want to depend solely on that. It is going to change. It's going to
Yeah.
have to change.
It has to.
Go away completely? I don't see that happening. I don't think American citizens would allow that to fly.
Right,
There'd
right.
be an uprising
So for
if it went away
two frames,
completely.
for us right here, I don't know if we're going to see as much in Social
Probably
Security.
not.
We may see a diminished benefit.
What about for those who are sitting at home who are already retired? So I'm 60, 65. Do we think they even might get a haircut 10 years from now?
It's possible.
It's absolutely
10, Yeah,
possible.
10 years from now, a lot can happen in the next decade.
So that's why we want to plan for that. We want to plan forward.
right.
So if you are in that situation like, hey, I'm going to retire in 5 years, or I just retired, will Social Security benefit look the same? We need to plan and have an income plan, whether it looks the same or whether it looks diminished, right? And so that's what we help with, and that's how we help plan for our income.
And we'd always talk about planning for the unexpecteds and the what ifs. So that's part of the conversation we would have with you if you came and sat down with us. If Social Security were to be diminished for you, how would that impact your retirement? How would
That's
that
right.
impact your financial plan? And putting together some contingencies, if that were to happen, to ensure that you could get not just to, but through retirement. That's the goal.
And
Because
thrive.
the number one question that we get asked all the time is, how do I know if I have enough money to retire? How do I know that I'm
Absolutely.
not going to run out? There's this underlying fear within all of us. Are we going to run out? Do I have enough? How is this going to play out? out. And we can bring some real peace of mind when there is proper and strategic planning done. It makes a big difference.
Right. We're going to take a very short break. Folks, call and get your own complimentary review. We'll also take a look at Social Security. Now, if you've already taken Social Security and you're beyond 12 months, there probably isn't a lot that we can do. If you're only able to rely on Social Security for your income in retirement, there's probably not a lot that we can change there. If you are wondering how Social Security fits into a retirement strategy that includes all of your investments, and you're wondering when and how to take it properly, call the phone number you see down here. We'll do a complimentary review. 866-691-7317. More with Jay and Brittany right after this.
When was the last time you saw your financial professional? Are you getting the most out of the strategy that was created for you? Although you've done a great job finding someone to help plan for your future, are you 100% sure that you were given the right strategy? We can help answer these questions and more with a complimentary second opinion evaluation. We will take a look at what you have in place and then help determine if you're well positioned to get the most out of your future retirement income. In the event that it is not, we can help by making suggestions and showing you how to get on the right path. You wouldn't get just one opinion when it comes to a major health decision, so why would you treat your most important financial decision with such disregard? Call today for your no-cost, no-obligation second opinion evaluation to see if you're getting the most out of your retirement income plan.
Welcome back to the Allon Exchange with Jay and Brittany Hagy. They are the co-founders of Allon Planning Partners. We are doing the kinds of questions that they get in their offices as retirement financial specialists every single day in the office. And this one, I know that I'm getting all the time. You guys are getting all the time. I'm hearing radio ads on stuff. Jay and Brittany, I've heard a lot about Roth Conversions.
Yep.
What are they, and is this something that I should consider? So first, what exactly is the Roth conversion?
First we've got to define it. What is a Roth conversion? So we talk a lot about diversification within our firm and how you need to be diversified. And it doesn't just mean in the types of assets you're invested in, it also means within tax statuses. And so we like to talk about what is tax planning, what is taxable and what is not. So a Roth conversion is where you would take dollars from your IRA or 401k and roll them over or convert them into a Roth account. And the unique thing about Roth accounts is that the distributions taken from Roth accounts are tax-free because you pay the tax up front. So you don't get the tax benefit when you contribute to them like you would your IRA or 401k, but there's a big benefit on the back end because when you withdraw those funds, you take them and they are income tax-free at that point. So big benefit there.
So that's what a Roth conversion is. Why would we do that, right? Why would we want to take that bucket and move that? If there's one thing I can say with certain, I can never say guaranteed too much, right? But what I can say with certainty is that taxes...
You're going to get compliance crawling over the studio walls
we're not
over here.
Don't
say guaranteed to
but
us.
Taxes will increase. Taxes, look at our debt levels.
Yeah.
Look at the
They have
debt
to.
levels in our country.
They have to.
$32 trillion. I mean, can you count that high, right? But you're going to have to raise taxes at some level. So every dollar that you can get into a tax-free bucket now, I'm going to applaud you and say do that.
That's a big win.
You know, we actually, back in 2020, if you remember, for about 3 weeks, the market went down like 30%, right? It took a deep dive in COVID. We actually had a couple clients that are huge advocates of ours now because during that time, we took large buckets of folks' monies in the IRAs when the market was hitting bottoms and moving those dollars into Roth buckets. Well, what happened really quickly with that V-shaped recovery, right? It went straight down and back up. How about all the gains that they got? Because you know, we don't want to always time the market, but when you hit volatility like that, sometimes it can actually be a benefit to make some Roth conversions for you because all the gains that you get on the rebound or the going back up become tax-free to you. So why would you want to do it? We want to get every dollar that we can into your pocket and out of the pocket of Uncle Sam.
Let me be clear for everybody out there, though. It's not just as simple of retitling the assets.
That's correct.
The hard part is what? What do you got to do when you convert?
Yeah, we have to walk folks through that conversion, right?
Well, you got to pay those taxes.
You have to pay taxes on that. So paying taxes at today's tax rate, though, we're under the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which is the lowest taxes we've seen in decades, right?
Yeah, better to do
and
it
so
now.
I encourage folks to pay the taxes now because we know the current rate. We do not know what the current rate will
Right.
be when you're actually getting to these funds, right? And depending on your time frame, it could be different amounts of money we're looking to pull. But, and we want to be strategic based on how much money you're making this year to how much that we pull that you'll need to pay taxes on. But yes, you have to pay the taxes this year, but it's to get it into tax-free buckets so that all that growth comes to you tax-free. That's what we're trying to do.
So then I'll ask, is it all or nothing? So a lot of people might have $300 or $400 or
Right.
$500,000 in
No,
one of
it's
those
not.
retirement accounts. They've been working somewhere for 10 years, saving the max. It's grown in there. Do you do it all at once? Or, because we talk a bit about tax planning, and the tax
Right.
planning is forward thinking. Because that would be a huge
It would
tax
be a
chunk.
huge tax bill. We would
You do a
never
little
tell
bit of it?
someone to do all
Yeah,
of your
that'd be
qualified funds if you
hard
have
hit.
that kind of, if you have $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. Absolutely not. We ladder those strategies, and we may take a 5-year approach. We may take a 10-year approach
Right.
in doing that, depending on where you're at and what your goals are and how aggressive we want to be in that model.
Well, and our goal is to really have that, again, diversification of tax statuses within your investments so that you have both qualified funds or IRA dollars and 401k dollars, but then also the Roth dollars that you can draw from tax-free. So it's good to build both of those. They serve different
Yeah.
purposes. There's different benefits to both of those. So it's not that do away with one and take the other completely. I think a lot of times there's a huge benefit to having a balance of both. And again, there's big strategy in how to convert, when to convert, that benefits you when it comes to taxes.
And I think part of the problem is most regular folks who aren't in financial services, we go into our CPA or our tax accountant and go, I want to pay as little in taxes this year as
Yeah.
possible. And most CPAs are trained in that, okay, we know that everyone wants to pay as little as they can. Instead of reversing the conversation and saying, what do you want to pay in taxes down the road? So how do you help folks like that? We're going to have to wrap up today's program, but do you work with CPAs or do you help lead the charge so they're doing
We
these
absolutely
taxes
work
properly?
with CPAs. We have CPAs in our office, so when folks come to see us, they're going to get CPA advice, right? We're not giving advice because we're not CPAs. So
We're not working
giving that advice.
independent of the
But we're not
tax
independent of. We're working as a quarterback on that team to make sure you get legitimate tax planning, not just I hope this is right, but I know this is right for you.
Right, so we're going to do a review for them. Brittany, why don't you take us out
Yeah.
here as we leave today's program?
That's right. We'd love to offer that complimentary consultation where we can sit down and talk specifically about things like this. Is a Roth conversion beneficial for you? 866-691-7317. Give us a call today.
Thank you so much for watching the Allon Exchange with Jay and Brittany Hagy. They are the co-founders of Allon Planning Partners. Call for that complimentary review or use the QR code down at the bottom of the screen. Open your camera, go to that QR code, and you go right to their website. Thank you for watching. We'll be back again next week.